Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well, and peace and salutations to the elect of Israel, and to you, I say Shalom. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying to the flock of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. And what you see on the screen is a psychoanalyst named Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud, you know, Esau Edom, the so-called white man, will praise and rave about his works, will consider him one of the smartest minds understanding human nature of all time, man. But this man was an idiot, man. And he was wicked. This nigga's an Edomite. Alright? So his grandchildren are the people that run Netflix now. And he's really known as the father of propaganda. This is why you see so much propaganda in Netflix now. Because really, this is it's really based on his theories. And, I'm going to see what is Freud's main theory. In simple terms, Freud's theory suggests that human behavior is influenced by unconscious memories, thoughts, and urges. This theory also proposes that the psyche comprises three aspects: the ID, ego, and superego. The ID is entirely unconscious, while the ego operates in the conscious mind. Right? Really, human behavior is influenced by the Lord, man. All right, so Esau Edom will try to use science, which really the root of science, the root word when you go into etymology, it means to know, right? But they always talk about theories and hypotheticals in science, right? So these Edomites really don't know. They really try to take away credit from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai and his ways, man. That's what controls human behavior at the end of the day, man. Man's goings are of the Lord, right? It's simple as that. You don't need fucking scientists, to go into human behavior, things like that. Some people are just born wicked. Some people are born as the wicked, man. Talking about specifically Esau Edom, the so-called white man. But before I start ranting on, the reason I'm bringing this guy out because I came across one of his not sayings, but one of his beliefs, Slakia, one of his beliefs, and this is called Freud's Moses, right? Moses and Monotheism. Freud's last major book, and the one specifically devoted to a Jewish theme, has proved to be one of the most controversial and enigmatic works in the Freudian canon. Among other things, Freud claims in the book that Moses was an Egyptian, right? That he derived the notion of monotheism from Egyptian concepts, and that after he introduced monotheism to the Jews, he was killed by them, right? And that is 100% false. First of all, Moses was from the tribe of Levi, man. Moses was an Israelite. Moses was not an Egyptian. Moses was an Egyptian by citizenship, but not by heritage or nationality, right? And we're going to prove that with the scriptures, man. One of the most brilliant minds of all time couldn't even read fucking one chapter of the Bible, man. It's wild. So-called brilliant mind, Salakia. This is the book of Exodus chapter 2 and verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi, right? A man of the house of Levi. And, according to Numbers chapter 1, our lineage is based off the man, our fathers, right? So Exodus 2 and 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi and took to wife a daughter of Levi, right? So the man and his wife were both Levites, man. The modern day Levites are you so-called Haitian man, woman, and child, man. All right? There's no such, the Lord didn't create Haitians, man. He created Levites. He created Israelites, all right? Haitian is really a byword at the end of the day, right? Verse 2, and the woman conceived, and she bare a son. And when she saw him that he was a goodly son, she hid him 3 months. And when she could not longer hide him, she took him an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with slime and with pitch and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. Right. So, because the decree went out to kill all the Hebrew boys. Right. The decree went out by the Pharaoh to kill all the Hebrew boys. And, verse 4, because the Israelites were in Egypt and they were multiplying like crazy. And Pharaoh didn't know. The new Pharaoh was like, "Hey, we just got to kill off the boys." And this is happening in your modern day Egypt too, right? With your abortion centers, in the jabs that they give these children, right? They say in Australia, ever since the C-19, the miscarriage rate went up 60%, man. All right, and that's just one nation. We don't even know what it's like across the four corners of the earth, man. Right? Because really billions of people took it. Like I believe in countries like Israel and Portugal, the jab rate was over 90%. 90% of the population took it, man. Really sold themselves, really just killed themselves at the end of the day, and killed their future generations. Even though we're in the last generation, and really they had no future generation. So really, it is what it is. But yeah, this is the modern day Egypt, where you have Jake women, voluntarily, killing their children, right? Exodus 2 and 4, and the sisters stood afar off to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked by the river's side. When she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she opened it, she saw it. She saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Right. So the daughter of Pharaoh, an Egyptian woman, seen Moses in the ark as a baby, and said, "This is one of the Hebrews' children." Right. Off rip. So that's two accounts already within 6 verses that proves Moses was an Israelite and not an Egyptian. Moses was only an Egyptian by citizenship because he was adopted by the pharaohs, right? So that nigga Sigmund Freud is not as smart or as wise as Esau Edom believes him to be. All right, let me jump over to the book, same book, Exodus chapter 11. Exodus 11:7. But against any of the children of Israel, Israelites, shall not a dog move his tongue against man or beast, that ye may know how that the Lord, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai, doth put a difference between the Egyptians and Israel. Right. Moses couldn't have been an Egyptian because the Lord dealt with him, man. The Lord dealt with Moses heavy, man. Actually, let me prove that in Deuteronomy chapter 33. It might be 34. Con. Whoa, it might be Exodus, Lakia. The Lord dealt with Moses one-on-one, man. All right? So the Lord wouldn't deal with an Egyptian like that. The Lord has a chosen people, man. Why would he deal with the Egyptian to set his people free, right? Sigmund Freud is out of his mind, man. And what proves he's out of his mind, he one of his theories was that how men are sexually attracted to their mother. He was speaking on behalf of Edomites' minds, man, because that shit is off, man. Hold on, Salafi, let me see if I can find this. Exodus 33:11. And the Lord spake unto Moses face to face, as a man speaketh unto his friend. And he turned again into the camp, but his servant Joshua, the son of Nun, a young man, departed not out of the tabernacle. Right, the Lord wouldn't speak to an Egyptian like that, man. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's a wild theory. That's easily disproven, man. All right. Jump over to the book of Hebrews. chapter 11. Hebrews 11 and 23. By faith, Moses, when he was born, was hid 3 months of his parents because they saw he was a proper child and they were not afraid of the king's commandment, right? The king's commandment was to murder the males born of the Israelites. He ordered the midwives to kill the child at birth, man, right? But his Moses' parents were not afraid of the king's commandment. Actually, there were multiple midwives not afraid of the king's commandment, and this is why the nation of Israel kept multiplying, man, right? Because it's better to fear the Lord than to fear man, man. All right. So if Moses was really commanded by the Pharaoh to be put to death, that proves that he wasn't an Egyptian. He was actually an Israelite, man. By faith, Moses, when he was come to years, refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. Right. He choosing rather to suffer the affliction with the people of the Most High than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season. Right. Even though he was in the king's house, man. Right. Moses was extremely high and position in a extremely high position in society, man. But when he seen the Israelite being persecuted by the Egyptians, man, he put them to death. Then rather than choosing to be an Egyptian, man, right? He understood the promises, man. Verse 26, esteeming the reproach of Mashiach greater riches than the treasures in Egypt, for he had respect unto the recompense of the reward, right? By faith he forsook Egypt, not fearing the wrath of the king, for he endured as seeing him who is invisible, right? He forsook Egypt, man. He was not an Egyptian, only by citizenship, man. All right, but he forsook Egypt, man. All right, so Sigmund Freud is completely bugged out. And anybody follows that weirdo doctrine, man. That weirdo, it's really an Edomite doctrine, just like Maccabees 3. They cover the faces of the judges thereof, man. And look how they paint Moses. But at least he has a beard, man. But Moses wasn't, a so-called white man. Moses had a dark brown skin. You can prove that in Exodus chapter 4. Exodus 4 and 1, and Moses answered and said, but behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, the Lord Yahweh hath not appeared unto thee. All right, and I'm going to jump down to verse 6, Exodus 4 and 6. And the Lord Yahweh said furthermore unto him, put now thy hand into thy bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his land was leprous as snow. Right? Leprous as snow. It means his hand turned white. I mean, if it turned white, it had to be another color before. It wouldn't have been so-called white turning into white. That wouldn't have been much of a miracle, man. Or, that wouldn't have been much of a miracle. So it had to be brown or even dark brown, for it to turn white and for Moses to be like, whoa, for it to shock the people, right? Verse 7, and he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh, right? Because Moses was a so-called Haitian man. So, he was brown. He was dark brown, man. All right. So, and it shall come to pass, Exodus 4 and 8, and it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign, right? Because it had to be a miracle. It had to be as drastic as the first one, right? Exodus 4 and 2. And the Lord said unto him, what is in thine hand? And he said, a rod. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moses fled from before it. And the Lord Yahweh said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. Right. A sign like that, if somebody showed you something like that, you will believe that man had supernatural powers, or that the Lord was dealing with that man, right? But in case you didn't believe, there was a second sign, which was turning Moses' hand into a leprous hand, which would really be meaning changing the color from brown to a whitish color, man. All right, and that's what leprosy is, man. Leprosy really is uh, a lack of or the removal of melanin, man. Like you see Jake born. Oh man, what's that term called? Jake born with not vitiligo, but Jake born with when they come out with blonde hair and blue eyes and so-called white skin. Oh my god, it's killing me. Albinism, albinism. When you see Jake born with that, right? That's really leprosy, man. That's really a curse, and uh, that's what the second sign was the Lord gave unto Moses to convince the people that it was the Lord dealing with Moses, man. All right, because even in that time, magic was everywhere, man. Not everywhere, but magic was a thing in society. The Pharaoh had hired magicians on his staff, man. That'd be like the so-called president hiring witches on his staff doing witchcraft, even though there are, but they're just not known publicly, man. Babylon deals heavily in witchcraft, man. All right, but I'm gonna wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Again, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles, the great millstone that rule well, and peace to the and salutations to the elect of Israel. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Until next time, Shalom and a Babal.